NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Farm NBA DFS Playbook Show. It is Friday. It is Listener League Friday. For those of you who are tuning in, we put out the link a couple of different places here today, and we'll drop that link into the chat a little bit later on into today's show. We got 11 games on the main slate, James. Got a lot of injury news coming through already. Some news we're waiting on here. It should be a fun one to end the work week with.
TGIF, John. It is freaking Friday. Albert, shout out to you. Tuning in nice and early as always. I know you usually drop the TGIF, but dude, let me tell you something. When you go from 1 to 2 kids, and then you get to Friday, John, there's no sweeter words, no sweeter sounds other than the coffee machine in the morning when you hear that beep that the coffee has finished brewing in the pot.
Sure.
What? Too good to brew some coffee in a pot?
I don't do my own coffee. We go over this.
That's right. You're a Dunkin'. Yeah. Well, if I lived within the radius of you to a 37 different Dunkin' Donuts,
I have like 10 Dunkin' Donuts is right around the corner from me. That is true. Living in the Dunkin' Donuts hub of Massachusetts affords me such luxuries.
But it is a good slate. It's a fun one. We've got some news sprinkled in throughout the day, unlike the last few days, or unlike Wednesday when everyone was ruled out. Seemingly everyone that has been questionable so far has been ruled in.
Yeah.
A lot of obvious news to still wait on. LeBron questionable again. The Cleveland guys is obviously a big deal. We just got news Marvin Bagley is probable to play. Yeah. So there's a lot of things in the balance. Right. Yeah, there was some news that has sprinkled across our feeds this morning about who was wearing the starter's jersey in shoot around this morning. But some news is sprinkled in, a lot more, I'm sure, during the show. Right after we log off, I'm sure we'll get a bomb of some sort from Shams or Woj or one of the beat writers for the team. So Bart Scott can't wait. Also, he was trending today. Bart Scott was trending today. So obviously you see Bart Scott, word association. Can't wait.
Why was he trending today?
I didn't click. I just saw Bart Scott. But it doesn't matter. You see Bart Scott, you say can't wait, and then you just move on.
This slate is loaded with some pretty high game total matchups. Milwaukee, Charlotte's at a 240.5 game total. Now Charlotte is getting 9.5 in that game. So obviously, as we know, Charlotte team certainly tends to get blown out. Philly, Atlanta, 236 total there. Atlanta went from a 1.5 point favorite to a 1 point underdog at home. Sacramento, San Antonio, 238 game total there. San Antonio getting 8.5. Keldon Johnson looking like he will play tonight, but Trey Jones and Devin Vassell ruled out already for San Antonio here. We had the 236.5 game total. Phoenix versus Utah. Utah, a 5.5 home dog in that one. So a couple of good games with some high totals here, over 230. But the point spreads and a few of them are ones we have to pay attention to.
There's a bunch of them. The Lakers 9-point favorites on the road tonight. The Celtics just announced everybody's playing, and a line that opened at 6.5 is now at 9 in some places against a Toronto team that's kind of been beat up. Cleveland. What do you make of the Cleveland? Do you think that regardless of Mitchell and Garland being in, they're 9-point favorites against Detroit? Because they're 9-point favorites against Detroit when we don't know the status of Donovan Mitchell and
they probably I don't know. 9 feels like a lot. But I would say they're still probably favorites. Even with LeVert, Mobley, Allen, that crew, they're probably still favorites over Detroit.
Definitely favorites. 9 is a lot.
9 is a lot.
That 9's a lot. I know Detroit is currently the worst team in the NBA, and I understand
it's a lot
that.
Especially for a team, it is a lot. They're only 4-6 against the spread this year in general. They're 1-3 against the spread at home. So, they haven't done a great job covering a lot of these totals. Now, to Detroit's fact, they're also very bad. They're 1-9 their last 10. So, it's what it is.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that Karis LeVert and Max Strus and Evan Mobley couldn't torch them. I'm just saying it does, it opened at 8.5. It's moved to 9, and even on our good friends at BetMGM, it's 9.5. So
Right.
just something interesting.
Maybe more so, kind of telling the tale that those guys will play tonight.
That's what I'm thinking. That's my thought too, because I don't think it's 9.5 without them.
I'm with you there on that one. All right, let's get into it here. We got a big game slate to break down here. If you guys have any questions for us, feel free to get those in chat. If you could also throw a like to the channel here today, it certainly helps out the video a lot with those YouTube algorithms. So feel free to help us out here again, and we will break it down for you. Let's start at the point guard spot. Top price point guard here on the slate. We have LaMelo Ball. Now, we talked about the big point spread. We talked about the big game total here. Gordon Hayward is still questionable. We know no Terry Rozier. Expecting Bridges, I think, returning here today as well. Do you like LaMelo knowing what he's shown as a ceiling? Even in games when they've been blown out, we know he's played. I mean, he played 36 minutes in a game they lost by 16, played 39 minutes here against Dallas. The one thing we've always said about the Hornets is their starters just play. Dame Lillard's been one of the worst defensive guards in the NBA. The Bucks defense has been one of the worst defenses in the NBA so far. So, on a slate like this, though, how do you prioritize LaMelo at all in the lineup?
I mean, he's definitely a good contrarian play because, we've seen 70 fantasy point upside from him, So at 10-2, you look at the prices of guys around him, at least what they've shown, like I'd play LaMelo over Tatum. I'd probably play LaMelo over Giannis on the flip side of this matchup with, them being pretty healthy. Anthony Davis is 10-1. He's not cheap. Devin Booker's 10K. He's probably still in a minutes cap. Sabonis 10K. Really good spot. Does that game stay competitive? So, all the guys around him, I think he has pretty good leverage in tournaments. So, yeah, 10-2 for LaMelo. You mentioned the part about Milwaukee's defense being bad. 24th in defensive rating as a team this year. And also, a good sign for Charlotte and this game in general. Milwaukee's 9th in pace. So, we have a team playing fast and we have a team not defending. So, this is a recipe for success. I think LaMelo Ball has a high ceiling in this matchup.
I'm with you. I from there, I move down. I kind of skip over to the Booker Lillard. I'll give Mitchell a look if Garland gets ruled out and he is in. But Trae Young's at 92, De'Aaron Fox at 9K. I kind of like both of those guys in that low 9K range.
Yeah. Fox is interesting because we just don't know what this game is going to look like, right? San Antonio's they've been bad outside of 2 random games against Phoenix where Kevin Durant was on an island by himself and Wemby took over one of them, right? Yeah. And the other one, they just kind of weirdly won. So it's San Antonio's bad. No, Devin Vassell does not help their case to score the basketball tonight, especially if Wemby is sitting on the perimeter where he shouldn't be, where he you're a guy who's 7'7" near the rim. I'm not saying he can't stretch the floor, but he does find himself on the perimeter a lot for a guy his size. If you think that this game can stay competitive, De'Aaron Fox is still too cheap. He's probably closer to a 10K player, when he is playing 36 to 38 minutes a night and giving you 42, 49. The opening night game aside, which ended up being a blowout in 33 minutes, he's playing big minutes. He's taking 20 plus shots and he is just doing everything, especially offensively. So, I'm perfectly fine getting to De'Aaron Fox at 9K.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, I look at the Lakers game. They won by 15, and he played 38 minutes in that game. So,
yeah.
And then again, we both like Trae, 9,200. The price is starting to come up on DeJounte, making it less of a value. But still, people tend to go to the cheaper play here. So, if you get a little contrarian there with Trae, I'm in on it. Mid-tier play here, the Celtics guards, obviously had a little tougher with Brown and Porzingis back in play. The point spread going up there. The total's not great. So, probably not in on Boston as much as we were this morning when we were talking about them potentially being without Porzingis or Jaylen Brown. Changes things up here a little bit. D'Angelo Russell's obviously certainly interesting, but it's a game we won't really know any information till later. So you'll have to sort of set your line to pay attention to that. We are getting Gordon Hayward available tonight for for Charlotte, so answers that question as to whether or not he'll be in or out.
And Brendan Miller, both available.
Yeah, and Brendan Miller. So that team healthier still, just missing Terry Rozier now for the Hornets here in the spot against Milwaukee, which, hey, you know what? That might make that game more competitive, having those two players in. So,
yeah, and I guess now we wait and see what the lineup looks like, right? Because they've been starting Theo Maledon. They've been
Maledon was starting because Brandon Miller had been hurt. So we'll see if they go back to Miller at shooting guard, or if Bridges enters the lineup and they shift Hayward down to the 2. Could do that.
That's kind of where I'm thinking. I'm just more so thinking like, with everyone back, basically, other than Rozier, what is Bridges' role?
Yeah.
Because we talked about on the show yesterday, like, as allegedly bad as the things that he's done. If he's 5,300, he was 20-8 like 2 years ago, right? And we know the rapport him and LaMelo have, especially in pick and roll, pick and pop. Bridges was often catching lobs from LaMelo, so definitely interesting to see how that lineup now breaks that both those guys are in.
For sure. I didn't really have much interest on guys below. I mean, quickly, did we get RJ Barrett news yet today?
No, he's questionable still.
All right. If we get RJ Barrett, if we get Grimes out, I still like Quickly. If we get Barrett out, if we get both out, I think Quickly, even at his increased price tag here, from what we've been used to paying, is someone I have some interest in here against Washington.
Yeah, for me, it definitely is contingent on both those guys, the news cycles. I'm not paying 59 if it's just Grimes. I'm okay with it if Grimes plays and Barrett doesn't. Yeah. But it's still not a priority if they're both.
Being a 7 o'clock game is nice because we'll know.
Yeah, being a 7 o'clock game, my only problem would be like, you lock Quickly in, maybe that takes you off like a LeVert or a Strus, depending on the news, like with the Cleveland stuff. And I'm not like going to necessarily base my my night around that, but that Cleveland news is massive, and I'm really hoping that we know early, rather than be like 7:01 if Mitchell and Garland are going to play or not.
I agree with you there. Other point guards here that we're kind of taking attention to as we move down the list. Anybody on the Pelicans? Kobe White here. Anybody that you're keying in on? Keontae George at $5,400. Again, we talked about this on the show this morning. They did give a price bump up to a lot of guys that had been cheaper. So now it's either kind of reevaluating their value at cost, or finding new value plays to plug in. Reggie Jackson is another name you and I were high on earlier today.
Yeah. Like the Pelicans guys, Hawkins obviously is only in play in tournaments, just given the very wide range of outcomes he's shown. And I'm also not going to chase Jordan Hawkins just because he had a big game against Denver last time. Like, that's not a thing. Denver's defense is also really good. He could shoot 2 of 14. It wouldn't surprise me. Of the two, I'd prioritize Dyson Daniels starting. He's kind of lost out run due to blowout in the last few games. So we saw in the Houston game 41 minutes in a non-blowout. 28 fantasy points or more for Dyson Daniels in 3 straight games, still just 5,100. So I like that. I do like the Keontae George. I'm okay with the Keontae George price, I should say. Shots started to fall last game. The assist numbers went down, of course. The teeter-totter effect. One stat goes up, one goes down when you think, because one's up, the other one's just going to meet it.
Plus 265 to get a double-double here tonight.
Oh, that's juicy, because we went from not on the board to plus.
Yeah, not on the board to actually giving us a number here for Keontae George. I mean, again, I think he's close. He, again, 7 assists in just the 26 minutes because of I would imagine, a blowout run here. Also, Sexton got hot.
Yeah, so, yes, he did.
And a lot of people like Colin Sexton here tonight in terms of rostership. This could be a spot where maybe they do need the scoring. Given the spread and the fact that they're facing Phoenix here tonight, that maybe Sexton does get on the floor, but George is still starting. Yeah,
it's a weird spot to be in with the ownership. And I think that's a product of like all these questionable players, they're still just questionable, right? Like if we were to get Giannis out in the middle of the day, things would have shifted drastically in terms of ownership. But
I agree.
Nobody was ruled out, so we still just have what we have. I mean, when you look at Colin Sexton in general, that was the first time he had played more than 23 minutes. I'm not saying he can't. 41 is a good price, and you do bring up a good point. Like if he scores, they're going to keep him on the floor because he's going to be more productive, at least offensively, and keep them in games more than like Achai Agbaji or like Horton Tucker would. So yeah, I mean, 4,100 for Sexton's fine. I do like Reggie Jackson. I think he's a very safe play. $5,000.
And we talked about the game, right? When it finally got to be competitive, 32, 28, 30, and the blowout, he played 24, and the blowout, he played 25. So we're kind of like, you know what? Like, we're not really getting what we thought we were going to get out of him with Jamal Murray ruled out. But the game flow had everything to do with that. And now, I mean, he's been super efficient scoring. You know, it's hard for him to expect huge secondary stats because Joker's just getting all the secondary stats. But, you know, the scoring can be there if Jokic is getting 7-8 assists here.
Right. And it's hard again, like peripheral stats even harder when Aaron Gordon is like grabbing everything that Jokic isn't. Like they're both just a vacuum. So yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Jackson. Would like if you were building 10 lineups, would you play Colin Sexton? I mean, again, I think he makes sense
for at least one of 10.
He is the second highest rostership currently on the slate. So does not feel good.
I don't think I get there in a 3 max, but if I'm playing more than 3 lineups, I probably get there.
Okay.
It all depends. I got to see what the line. I mean, again, I'm trying to jam Joker in my lineup tonight, so
same.
There's a chance I might need him. People could feel the same way. I mean, we're at shooting guard, so we'll just talk about it. Malachi Branham is currently expected to be the highest rostered player on the slate.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen what Malachi Branham is, and we know what Malachi Branham isn't as well. So for $200 more, would you rather take your shot with Colin Sexton, he gets on the floor just to shoot, or like Malachi Branham, who gets on the floor and doesn't really give you anything and sometimes doesn't shoot either?
It would definitely be Sexton. And honestly, so I've been thinking about the Branham thing today. I would rather, like, if I'm playing a Spur, John, and this might perk you up a little bit because you seem a little down today. I don't know. I hope you're okay. I hope everything's okay.
I'm doing good. Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's Friday, man.
Devontae Graham seems a little interesting to me tonight. And Trey Jones being ruled out might have unlocked something for me. And I also don't want to like trust Greg Popovich in really any capacity if I don't have to. Like I would just like to avoid anything that could trip me up to do with Greg Popovich, right? Because like he is, it feels like he's just at this point we're just coasting. We're just kind of like.
What's the popcorn machine on Devontae Graham there against OKC?
He played. I have it up.
Okay.
He did not play until the second quarter.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's a rotation for some teams.
He played 6 minutes. He then checked in the third, played 5 minutes. And then he closed the
blowout,
with 5. So like, I understand it's not like a comfortable thing, but also
Vassell played in that game though. So
Vassell played, and like when you have Vassell, you don't need to go to like Trey Jones and Sohan in the lineup together,
right?
But like you could do that because Sohan's also 6'6". And played power forward last year for them. So you could theoretically see a lineup where you have Sohan, who is the team's starting point guard, but Devontae Graham on the floor with him because, like you said, Malachi Branham is not like a trustworthy guy who also, by the way, closed in that game. Went down 30. So just a thought, like I don't love Branham chalk is not something that I'm eating at all and something that I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah, Branham subbed in for Champagne there. So,
do you think he starts again? Champagne, do you think he starts again? We got a Washington starting lineup. No Miles Bridges.
Charlotte starting lineup. No Bridges.
Charlotte.
Paul Miller, Haywood, Washington Williams. That makes sense. We'll see what he comes off the bench. I mean, listen, he did play 17 minutes, but the final 5 came in that blowout. But there is no direct backup. There's no starting guard, I guess. So a total dart throw in a 20 lineup. Sure, I can see that.
Yes.
Top tier for the shooting guard, though. Again, I didn't find myself plugging in much else in this range. I played Clarkson. I just played Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, I largely agree. Like obviously there's
Yeah, the
very
LeVert
strong.
news matters, but
The Mitchell news.
yeah, well, LeVert impacted by that.
Right.
News.
Yeah. Like Mitchell, I would get to if there's no Garland. I'm okay getting to Ingram. He was really good the last game. He's been really good in 2 of 3, but he's just really priced up, $8,400. Cade doesn't have a great matchup here. But yeah, we feel very good about Jordan Clarkson.
Because
John,
think about the guys we've just talked about, right? We got a 50 burger out of Ingram. That's been great. We've seen 47 out of him in a relatively slower game against Houston, so we know what the upside can be. But I mean, we've also looked at Clarkson here lately, giving us 41, 42, and 45, at a $2,000 discount on those guys for me. Now, we talked a little bit earlier today. Maybe this game flow could be a little tough, but I like that they're home here. It is only a 5.5 point spread. It's not like a 10.5 point spread, so there's some reason to think this game will be relatively competitive here. And they start Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, Devin Booker. Like, those aren't great defensive players. Allen's okay. He might be the one that draws the Clarkson matchup here, but
doesn't
I'm
matter.
not really worried about that. So, as long as the starting lineup for Utah rolls out there and it's Keontae George and Agbaji again, two guys that don't really want to shoot, the shots are just going to be there for Clarkson and Markkanen, and I'm just going to keep rolling that price tag out there. Because again, I find if I'm playing Jokic, it's hard to pay $8,400.
Yes.
For a guy that, sure, a ceiling we know can give us 50, 60, but more likely going to settle in and give us 40-ish. Right, I'd rather just play the cheaper guy that's giving me 40 right now. And I see that with LeVert too. If those guys get ruled out today with Mitchell or Garland or both, I mean, even with those two playing, he gave us 40. I would much rather just spend and play the 6K guys that are showing ceiling right now than the 8K guys that are mostly settling in at the same type of price point.
Clarkson definitely had, I agree, and that's where my lineups are gravitating as well. I will just point out, I would say that Clarkson LeVert tier has much lower floor. Clarkson has significantly shot himself out of games multiple times this year. And LeVert, obviously, I'm not saying he will, but cannot at any point defer to the two guys that are projected.
Yeah, I think the starting lineup being different helps him because there's less guys looking to shoot and
Right.
there's actually more facilitation to get him the basketball. So
Sure.
I think that helps. That's been helping him out a bit there. So Anime Dude, they're definitely playing some Clarkson today. Faisal wants our favorite play under 4,200. I mean, there's not a lot of guys down here under 4,200. We'll hit on some. We touched on a few already that are in that game. Like Sexton and Brandon are getting the rostership here tonight. Those are two guys that are going to be popular if you just want to bite some chalk and hope it comes through for you here. But under 42, there really aren't many names. Jabari Walker's a guy plugged into a lineup again. If you want forward center eligibility, I think you can run that out there for sure. Other shooting guards on your radar here?
Other shooting guards. Out on, you already mentioned the Boston guys. We don't think OG is going to play. I'm not going to play Miller at 6K with a healthy team. Plus, we don't know what his split's going to be with Bridges back.
Right.
He doesn't shoot well. I assume he loses a lot of minutes to Bridges. Strus is obviously really interesting. If Cleveland's shorthanded, D'Anthony Melton seems like he's finding a rhythm offensively. 30 and 16 actual last two, 42 and 28 fantasy points. He seems safe. Really good paced environment for Philly in this game. I think Philly's going to go vastly underowned.
Sure.
And, they're a really good team playing a really bad defense. So, you could get to Melton. Cole Anthony would be a little interesting to me if Suggs were to sit, because then they would be down 2 starting guards. I'm not sure they would start Cole Anthony, but you never know.
They play Beck and who?
Harris? Probably Kerry Harris would probably start.
But I mean, if nothing else, that's probably better for Anthony, right? He'll get the first sub, and there's a chance he just doesn't come off the floor again.
Yeah, you get the Dallas game, right? Or the Utah game where he plays 30 minutes and we know what Cole Anthony can do when he plays 30 minutes when the shots are falling. So if we get Suggs out, I'm a little intrigued by Cole Anthony there.
I still like Burks. 23 minutes again, 29 fantasy points. Hey, what do you know? Man just does what he does. No
You said it on the podcast. Like, they need spacing, so Alec Burks is just going to play because he provides spacing.
Gabriel wants to know our core plays. We're certainly working our way through some core plays here today. We've said at the top of the show that we're doing what we can to figure out how to play Nikola Jokic here tonight against the Pelicans. So we're going to need to find some mid-tier and value plays on the slate. There definitely are some. We like Reggie Jackson at the point guard spot. We've hit Clarkson here at shooting guard. We'll see if LeVert opens up with Mitchell and Garland potentially out here. Again, but some price bumps on these guys. So like Eric Gordon starts $4,800 under 5K, showed you the 20 fantasy point sort of average again the other night. Can probably continue to kind of roll that one out here. If Giannis doesn't play, are we reading anything into the Malik Beasley game?
He was upgraded, so I assume he plays. He was upgraded to probable, so I assume he plays. If he were downgraded again, we know he can. He gets hot, right? And he can score. So
Kispert's getting some ownership love today.
Oh, I hate playing Washington. I hate it so much. It's just such a terrible. Every time they play someone like the Knicks, it's like massive pace down spot.
Yeah, I know.
I would at that same price, and Kispert obviously has the better eligibility. The Clippers played 8 guys last game. Norm Powell played 26 minutes off the bench. He wasn't great.
They're starting Terrence Mann now. What are you?
They are. I like it. I have Terrence Mann in when the question that was asked. I don't know if he's the best play, but I have Terrence Mann in my build right now. He took 1 shot last game. He had like 6 assists.
That's my problem now.
Yeah, the shots are not going to be great. But like, I'll never forget that like 38-point playoff game that he had that like literally clinched them a series. You're like, where did that come from, or / where did that go? Because he's never been able to replicate that.
They should have traded him after that. Honestly.
They really should have. Day after. But I kind of like the Norm Powell thing, especially with Westbrook coming off the bench. Because when you think about Westbrook, like, yeah, he's obviously a high-octane offensive player, but Westbrook's also someone who sets his teammates up very well. Like, Russell Westbrook's never not been a good passer.
Sure.
So, that could – him and Powell in the second unit, it seems pretty potent. So, Norm, 26, 31 minutes off the bench the last 2 games. I kind of like it. And
Black starts. Would you play Black?
Yeah.
I mean, the minutes will be there.
Floor.
The minutes will be there.
Minutes will be there. Like, this is gonna be terrible. And like, close your eyes. Like, if I would rather play Gary Harris at 32.
Active, and Daniel Tice expected to be active for the Clippers tonight. So,
imagine we get Daniel Tice like 25 minutes off the bench.
No shot.
Zubac's foul trouble. Tice 25 minutes or something. Black is fine. I'd almost rather play Gary Harris if Suggs was ruled out and he started. It's terrible, but that's where we are today. I feel like the value today is just not existent.
If Brian's in Art Barrett are out, we can go DDV here.
Yeah.
Beauchamp officially ruled out. Does that help anybody? He was playing 20 minutes.
It probably gives like Andre Jackson another chance to like play.
RJ Barrett's still a game time decision with a migraine, so we'll see what happens.
Grimes
ruled out though. Grimes ruled out.
Obviously, so I like the Grimes thing being out. My assumption is now the Knicks just instant plug DDV, right? That feels like a DDV plug. I don't know if they would go Josh Hart at the 2.
Or they play Hart at the. They could. Because Barrett can play the 2 as well. They could both move around there.
Yeah,
we'll get a starting lineup. It's a 7:00 game. We'll know.
Yeah.
But I think I think all the Knicks backups are now in play at that swing position.
And I agree. Because we've always like talked about Grimes. Like if Grimes plays 24 to 28 minutes, and if you make shots, like DDV and Hart kind of limited, but when he doesn't, you see like the games where DDV plays.
This also could be like a DDV like garbage game too, right? Like against the Wizards here.
Fournier.
I can see
Fournier garbage.
I
No,
can see
Fournier.
him getting some garbage time in this one.
Maybe they did. I mean, they paid him. He got handsomely paid this offseason.
Yeah, I just think he's such like a rotation guy. He could be on the floor there.
Wait, rank this for me.
Quickly
if
about DDB.
If Barrett's ruled out, Quickly's
Yeah.
number one for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just has the highest scoring floor.
He just has, I would say, yeah.
I mean, we've literally seen him go for 30 actual.
No, I'm not. That was not me disagreeing with you. Sure. That was me.
No, I play hard all the time in these situations too, and I would probably consider playing hard again. But DDB is probably last for me. Okay. Maxey or LaMelo tonight. LaMelo. I kind of like LaMelo. I think Same. With everybody healthy, that game might surprise some people.
Same.
They're home. They're getting a lot of points as a home underdog with a high game total.
We'll see if
everybody's back. I don't know. I could see LaMelo keeping this one close tonight.
That game has shifted like a full point. It's down to 8. It's been BetMGM bet down to 8.5 again.
Yeah, so. Dude, I'm telling you, I think that game Charlotte may cover in that one there.
It's also been bet up, John, to 240.5. I think it was 238.5 when you initially read it, wasn't it? 238. Sure.
Agreed. Giannis being in makes me like Nick Richards, but we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Small forward here. Everybody's playing for Boston, so don't really find myself getting to JT. We don't know the LeBron news, but obviously LeBron is in. It's probably a good spot, even though Portland's been very bad here. Power forwards have had a lot of success against Phoenix, even with Durant there. I don't know. Do you have any interest in Laurie at 86?
I don't love the price and I don't love the peripherals, but we know. I mean, he could go out and score 40, right? And you'd be like, oh yeah.
If you just run through the box scores, power forwards against Phoenix have been putting up some good numbers there. So, just something to watch potentially there. Are you playing any of these Clipper players that are priced up?
Not that
Leonard and George are both right here.
I mean, I'll say it probably doesn't hurt them that Westbrook's going to the bench, if there's anything to be taken from that. But it's a terrible game environment. I would say just playing the cheap guys because they can stumble their way into 5x, 6x, and we don't have like really good value as it stands. Maybe things opening up if RJ Barrett like gets rolled out, that would help.
Okay.
For sure.
Shaden Sharp 74. I still like Gordon Hayward if he's playing tonight. I have no problem going to Gordon Hayward here.
I mean, he's had one bad game, right? It's been one bad game, so
the league is making LaMelo Ball cover one of his tattoos. Apparently,
insists exposing commercial below his left ear that the league insists violates rules against exposing commercial logos. So does he have a sponsor tattoo that he got or something?
I'm looking right now. Yeah,
commercial. So he has
LF. What is LF for?
It's short for La France, which is his middle name and his clothing brand. So
got it. All right. Whatever.
Also, just shout out to LeVar and his wife for naming him LaMelo La France.
Yeah. Anyways, I like Gordon Hayward here. I think
nice, John nice right there.
Yeah, he's very nice. Listen, I'm always a big fan of Gordon Hayward when he's on the floor. So I'm in. Would you play Keldon at 67? That's kind of a nice price. It's kind of a nice price.
We have often shit on Keldon Johnson for like lack of peripherals throughout his career. Lack of peripherals no more, my friends. He has been super impressive this year specifically, and that's weird to say.
I think it's because they're just doubling Wemby. So like Keldon just be able to scoop in and pull these things down.
He's like, oh yes, I can actually just crash the glass and there's no one around me because 3 guys are boxing Wemby out. And Zach Collins too, like 2 very competent bigs. I'm looking up. So this year, Keldon Johnson's been at 1.0. No, that was last year. God.
Gotta get your settings right, man.
It was last year. So this year, Keldon Johnson, 0.99 fantasy points per minute. When we remove Keldon Johnson, or we remove Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, 2% usage bump, 23.5%, 1.06 fantasy points per minute. Pretty good. Pretty good
now, we could run into the same spot like we did with Vassell the other day where they got blown out and he played 27 minutes, but It's a good price tag.
It's obviously just scary because, dude, the Kings offense has looked better than it was last year, and they were the best offense in the league last year.
Agreed. So. I like Austin Rivers here just in general. Even if the guys are out, even better.
I don't like Austin Rivers, that's for sure.
I said Austin Reeves.
Dude, I'm tripping. I heard Austin Rivers.
No, I said I like Austin Reeves.
I mean, I like Austin Rivers. Shout out to the Duke, great Duke.
Austin Reeves here. Even if guys are in or out, I like Austin Reeves. Like Josh Hart at 59 here as well, as we've mentioned. Bojan feels too expensive. Is too expensive here. Yeah. But I do like Sadiq Bey, who is where is he?
Very
cheap. Power forward only now.
He's power forward only
$4,400. So when you get to power forward, then we can talk Sadiq Bey. But I do like Sadiq Bey tonight at that price tag here.
Dude said Rivers. I'm telling you. I'm
throwing the red flag. Someone go on the rewind here. There it is. Yeah. The replay flag. He gets it.
We need to go. We'll go back and play this moment that we'll have for literally on our channels to just prove that you said Austin Rivers. But I'm telling you, I was about to take a sip of my Dr. Pepper, and I was flabbergasted that you just dropped Austin Rivers' name
in
the middle of the
show. Anyways. Where are we?
Josh Hart, 6,000, 5,900. The Herbster, dude. John said Rivers. Dude, he said Rivers. I'm telling you. Look, bro. This is 3-0.
This is just piling on.
Everyone in the chat, let us know what.
All right, how about this? If you guys think I said Rivers, like the channel. Okay, like the video if you think I said Rivers.
Agreed.
And comment if you think I didn't, so.
I mean, no, you can't say comment. Oh, comment on the, comment. They're all commenting that you're saying Rivers.
So no, they're in the chat. I want them to comment.
Okay. That's fair.
Put it in the comment section.
Okay. Herbie, yes. Herbie, if Herbie has one of those like blocks.
And then also join our listener league. Links in the chat.
Yep. Agreed. Join the listener league. Austin Rivers. Maybe Austin Rivers plays tonight. He joins the league tonight.
If we get over 20 people, I'll roster Austin Rivers tonight.
Okay, I respect that. Only in the listener. Only. If this was FanDuel, he'd probably be still in the player pool. Drop score.
Not on the Slate button. Yeah.
Yeah. Drop score. So would you play Miles Bridges 53? Now that we have
not as likely now that he's not starting. Okay. I'll wait and see how they use him.
Okay. I think I agree, especially like if DiVincenzo were to draw a start, I would play DiVincenzo at 47. That just feels like value, especially because you and I have both said, I commented in the Discord, I'm going to purposely step on a Lego if my lineup does not have Nikola Jokic in it.
Yeah.
And like we all know, stepping on Lego is one of the worst things ever.
This is who I'm playing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they need to increase his trade stock. So
I plugged Alex Caruso in my lineup right away. Also, if you want to game theory it, we can run back to Sam Hauser here. You can fight me on it all you want. But after everybody got burned by him at 35 minutes, he's going to go back and blow out run, play 25 minutes, and do 20 plus fantasy points. So.
He's hitting 6 threes. 6 for 7 from 3.
Yeah,
for sure.
As soon as this game starts, I'm going to text you like Sam Hauser did. He just went 3 for 3 from 3 in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
had a block and pulled down a rebound. He's already at 20. Let's see here. All right, we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Played 29 minutes against Atlanta. Played 24 minutes against Chicago. Hit all of his shots. And then today there was a report that he was practicing with the starters today while Bagley was practicing with the backups.
Oh, so boy.
There is a really good chance that Kevin Knox starts tonight for the Detroit Pistons against Cleveland. If he starts, do you play Kevin Knox tonight? Probably.
I'm
in the year 2023. Are we plugging in Kevin Knox? Not even at min price, but at 4,000.
Not even at min price. Not even in the threes anymore. Took him took third slate. He's been active and he's already Detroit is decimated by injuries. They're not playing Marcus Sasser anymore. The Jaden Ivey thing is obviously just what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Their front court, they're missing Livers, Harris, Bogdanovic, Duran, they're not playing. Obviously, this tells you what they feel about James Wiseman too, that they're just like, we're going to bring Bagley off the bench because we do not want to play James Wiseman at all, and we can just move Beef Stew to center. Like, yeah, if he starts, John, he's the chalkiest play of the slate. No, I don't even think it's like a question about it. I think he's just the chalkiest play of the slate because we're talking about.
I feel like I might fade if that's the case.
Well, like, okay, let's just run through the value we talked about.
No, I mean, I agree with you, but like we also say this all the time. You don't have to play the value.
You don't. But him or like, I'm not saying you have to play the value, and there's other values that we have identified that are fine. But like, I would play him over Branham. I would play him over Sexton.
I'd play Sexton over Knox probably.
You would play Sexton over Knox? If Kevin Knox was starting, you would play Colin Sexton over him. I mean, the game environment for Sexton is obviously better, but like, we've only seen upper 20 minutes once this year.
We've only seen bad Kevin Knox play basketball for 5 years.
But we've seen bad Kevin Knox be halfway decent and play 23 and 29 minutes. Justin Pugh straight off the couch. He Justin Pugh'd himself into playing almost 30 minutes in his second game with Detroit. I'm not saying that like I'm comfortable with playing Kevin Knox. You said it the first night. You were like, he cannot be this efficient again. And then he was almost as efficient, but it's to your point, like he is $4,000 and we need him to be this efficient. The volume for shooting is not necessarily going to be there. He's not like a stat stuffer, but the one thing that Kevin Knox has been able to do when he's gotten run is he can score sometimes.
Yeah.
I look at it like the Branham thing where it's like, well, Branham, like you said, I mean, you ran through it, you're like, well, sometimes Branham shoots and sometimes he doesn't. Where like Kevin Knox, like he'll go out there, he'll definitely get his. They won't always go in, but they're small forward, power forward.
I've said I'm trying to figure out how to play Joker, so maybe he does getting away. But you have Man. All right, would you rather play Man or Knox?
They're so similar, and probably Kevin Knox. I feel better about the shot volume, but I don't dislike Terrence Mann's minutes. 28, 27, 29 the last 3 games. I don't dislike the peripheral stats from Terrence Mann. 6 rebounds, 6'3", 6'4". The assists have been there. But again, 0 points in 2 of the 4 games. So I'd probably lean Knox. And I would say a lot of Jokic lineups probably just have both.
Probably have both. All right.
Who do you lean of those two?
I don't know.
You could say neither, and you can just say neither.
This is the problem when you're like hand build your lineups and you only play a couple. If I was playing 150 lineups and just simming everything, it wouldn't even matter. I wouldn't even care.
You'd have exposure to all of them.
You just have exposure to all of them, right? So It wouldn't even matter. My Knox lineups hit tonight, or hey, they didn't hit, but it's okay. I had 75 other lineups that had, Man in it, Monk over Hoarder is a question. Did we say Monk over Hoarder today?
No, we didn't talk about either. I do think the Malik Monk price is interesting, 5,400.
Just Fox being back is my problem.
But yeah, also though, we've talked about this a couple times. Everyone has been better with De'Aaron Fox. Kevin Huerter went for 50. He dropped a 50 bomb. So like the only problem with Kevin Huerter, John, they took away our gosh dang small forward eligibility from him. So now he's so handicapped at shooting guard here.
Yeah. I mean, we don't like this game environment. So like I don't find myself getting
Fox or Sabonis, right? It's like basically if you're playing Kings, you're playing either Fox or Sabonis.
Well, that's why I took the Sabonis first quarter points tonight, because I think he can get 6. I think he scores 6 in the first, and I don't have to worry about the full game here. So.
Right.
All right, let's move to power forward because we got some players to talk about here.
Yes, we do.
Do you go Giannis at 11-1?
No, but I get it. I mean, he's always, he's a
OG ruled out. I think we knew that one was coming. So
yep, he was doubtful.
Harry Trent will play.
Yep.
Gary Trent start, you think?
Yeah. I mean, I my guess would be starts. I don't hate it, but also I basically have decided I'm not playing that game. Gary Trent's 4,700. He can shoot really well, but he can't really do anything else. So that's a tough sell for me just in general with that game.
Okay. I do like Durant at 87. I also like Randall. If Barrett gets ruled out tonight, I mean, Washington.
Yes.
That feels pretty good.
Dude, the Knicks are incredibly interesting if Barrett's ruled out, in my opinion. Like, we didn't talk about Brunson, but Brunson is incredibly interesting at that point. We talked about all the value, but dude, Randall's been great. He's been great. He's finally making shots.
Yep.
He's great.
Yeah.
58 fantasy points.
I like Randall a lot here if RJ Barrett gets ruled out tonight. Wemby probably going to pass. Kuzma probably going to pass. You talked Mobley's price this morning. Has anything changed for you on Mobley? Do you still need guys to be out for you to want to play this one?
Probably. Obviously, like the minutes.
Knowing that his matchup is now going to be Kevin Knox, probably.
Does that like limit his rebound upside because he's just chasing Kevin Knox around the perimeter the whole game? I don't know.
Is Kevin Knox running around the perimeter or just running away from Evan Mobley? What do you think he's doing?
He's doing the Geno Smith, Aaron Donald. He's dropping the oh shit.
Just screaming like, oh my God.
I mean, we said on the show this morning, love the 35 minutes, kind of wondering why the minutes had been down to begin with. Love the stocks, 3 blocks and a steal. Love the rebounds the last 2 games. I'm okay getting to Mobley, but like, dude, Mobley and pick and roll with Karis LeVert if there's no Donovan Mitchell, and he's going to play 40 minutes and he's such a good play. So I'm probably only getting to him if Garland and Mitchell are ruled out.
Okay. Anybody else down this tier?
DeRozan, there's been reports that he's probably going to play. Chris Haynes reported that. I know he's listed questionable, but he's probably going to play. Porzingis, I'm not. I was really in on Porzingis at 74 if like Brown were to sit and he played, but no thanks. Also, Thompson 74 is too expensive. Grant 73, like there's a ceiling. The Denver guys are interesting for me. 68 for Michael Porter, 66 for Aaron Gordon, but you know, there's Herbie treatment waiting on the other side of the rainbow there for either Nuggets. I think Toby is really safe, $6,300. Tobias Harris has been getting some ownership tonight. So, you know, if you want to land on $6,300 Tobias Harris in a matchup against the Hawks, like I see why the ownership is gravitating towards him. John Collins, another guy, showed a ceiling last game. Can you trust the ceiling? I don't know, but he had taken 6, 9, and 9 shots the 3 games prior, but he is coming off a big game. I don't know. Next name I'd probably click on is Isaiah Stewart, who's going to start in this game and play. I mean, no Duran, and if Bagley's moving to the bench, I assume we just get back to like mid to high 30s minutes for Isaiah Stewart.
Okay, I think I can certainly get behind that one for sure here. Any value at the power forward position that you're looking at after that? Yeah, I mentioned Bay already. You know, Pat Williams is 46. Hachimura off the bench, played only 18 minutes in that game.
Yeah,
kind of tough to trust unless you get that news here. Anybody else?
I mean, we don't know what Champagne's going to do. My assumption is he starts, but they could obviously play Branham in the starting lineup too. We already mentioned Terrence Mann. Jabari Walker would be someone I'd be willing to go to. 21 and 23 minutes in each of the last 2 games. He's gone for 21 and 29 fantasy points in those 2 games. This is obviously a blowout scenario where Jabari Walker, power forward, center eligible, could see the floor for another 20 plus, and that's all he needs. So $3,700 Jabari Walker could be one of the better values on the slate. Someone who's in the playbook, John, Najee Marshall today, 3,700. I like the minutes. I just don't know if we're going to get like 14-21. I don't know if that was them saying like, all right, we want to ramp Najee up because we need to get him ramped up, and this is a good spot to do it because they were winning by a trillion. Like he is in their rotation typically. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to play.
Would you rather him or Jabari Walker at the same price?
Jabari Walker.
Yeah. It's kind of where I'm at as well. Again, I've been playing. I have Walker and Bay in my lineups as like value here. I know they're both power forward. One's a center, so kind of not the greatest eligibility, but I like both here tonight for some value.
Agreed.
Anybody else for you?
Not unless someone's rolled out.
All right, and we go to center here then. Joker is the one we talked about all show. We're just trying to figure out a way to jam him. 68 fantasy points while shooting just 8 of 23 against the Clips. Gets the Pelicans, plays Pelicans here a couple games back. Went for 79 in a game that they won by 18. So hard to not want to play. 12.5 isn't an unreasonable price tag, so willing to figuring out how to get him in there.
Dude, we were playing. If you guys have played DFS NBA for a while, we were paying 13 to 14K for James Harden and Russell Westbrook for like worse numbers than this. Like even when Westbrook and Harden were peak pricing 13, 14K, they weren't consistently putting these types of, like they were in the ballpark, but if Jokic triple doubles tonight, he's getting you 80. That's pretty much what we've settled on. Last year without Murray, there was a 28% usage rate. This year without Murray, there is a 38% usage rate. Last year without Murray, he was 1.8 fantasy points per minute. This year without Murray, it is over 2 fantasy points per minute. If this game stays competitive and Nikola Jokic maxes at 38 minutes like he did in the Houston game, he's giving you 80. Like it. This is why I'm going to force myself to step on a Lego if I don't have him in my lineup. Like,
this is one of the reasons why my draw hit the floor over on Sleeper Fantasy today when they had their rebound, first quarter rebound prop for Nikola Jokic set at 3.5. What about this guy thinks that 3.5 rebounds in the first quarter isn't a thing that he's going to do when he's pulling down 16, 21, 16, 15, 14. Like, you need just 4 rebounds in the first quarter. He might have 4 rebounds in 4 possessions.
And he, if you think about rotations, he plays the entire first.
That's what I'm saying. I had a popcorn machine at first to see, like, all right, does he get like early subbed? Like, what's the game flow here for him? Like, do I have to worry about it? No, not really. He plays 10 minutes in the first quarter.
plays the whole first, and then you look at the stat line, and it's 12, 4, and 5 after one quarter with like a steal and a block, and you're like, oh, right, 80 again.
He played the first 11 minutes against the Rockets when they played against each other. Like first 10, 11 minutes of the first quarter, he's out there. Yep. I need 4 rebounds out of him to hit the over on that one. So
feels pretty good.
When like the game total is like 16.5 or something like that, like I'll take the first quarter and we'll just let it ride here. So I've jammed Joker in all my lineups so far. If you want to go elsewhere, we do have Sengun as our cover boy today. I also took the over 30.5 PRA on Alperen Sengun here. Feels pretty good for a guy that's scoring almost 20 points a game this year. Great to see. Rebounding, assists, all of it looking good here. And we like the matchup against Clippers. They do not defend the center position well. And what did we just watch the other day? Reggie Jackson and Nikola Jokic ran the same play 8 straight times. Jokic scored pretty much every single time down the floor. Will the Houston Rockets do that same thing? Maybe not, but I still think this is a great spot for Sengun here.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, they could, because they are using him as the hub, just like Denver is using Jokic as the hub. So, like, in theory, you could get Sengun just over and over passing out of a double team or going to the rack.
Just flashing to the post every time, right?
Every time, yeah. I mean, until they stop it. Yeah, I love him. For no reason whatsoever is his price not rising. He's an 8K player at this point.
In fact, it actually dropped there because it went to 82 and 8, and all he did was go for 48 fantasy points. It's on its way down.
Yeah. Yeah, the PRA feels good. I looked at it too on Sleeper. Look, the talent's always been undeniable. It's just been about minutes and foul trouble, and he's been able, knock on wood, to do both. The minutes are up, the foul trouble's down, and now we're seeing what's happening. So, yeah, I love Sengun. I will say I will just give Embiid a shout because at the end of the day, I fully agree that Jokic is the better play. I fully agree that I'm also getting to Jokic, but it's undeniable that Embiid has as high of a ceiling as anyone else in the NBA. We're talking about a guy who has multiple 100 fantasy point games or 90 plus fantasy point games. We're talking about a guy who no longer plays with James Harden and had 81 fantasy points in 29 minutes against Portland earlier in the year, and he's a force on both ends of the floor. So like,
all things considered, this is actually a better game environment for Embiid than Joker. It's a
good
1 point spread and a 235 game total.
So good. And Atlanta's third in pace. So like you're getting just maximum possessions for Joel Embiid. So like I will say you're gonna get Joel Embiid at what? Let's see what we have Embiid over at fantasyalarm.com. We have Joel Embiid, John, at 11% rostership. We have Jokic at 12. So like it's close. I would say you probably see that separate if more value opens up, right? Like if more value,
are currently your highest projected center tonight because people just need value.
Need value. Yep. But I think either one is leverage as it stands right now. But if you need $1,100, I can't fault you for going to the league last year's league MVP, right? Like he's that good.
I agree with you for sure. Sengun's there. John Collins is getting some love tonight at his price tag at 62. We say all the time, like they just don't play Nurkic the minutes. So, I mean, they did here, which is great, but 24, 26, 28. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said at power forward Collins, I don't know if we're going to get a ceiling again, but it is like a good price if you want to get there. I like the eligibility, obviously. Nurkic, no thanks. That's
If Stewart's starting at center, yucky. Any interest?
Yeah, I think Stewart's reasonable. I think there should be 30 plus minutes in the cards for Stewart.
Okay. Anybody else at center?
I like the Jared Allen price. If there's no Mitchell, no Garland, not that I think he's just suddenly going to take 20 shots, but I do think he'll be more involved just naturally with the flow of the offense. So if we were to get word that Jared Allen minutes limit is off or he's going to play 30 minutes, he's not a 5'9" player. He's probably mid sixes to high sixes on like a normal day. So I don't dislike Jared Allen. Mitchell Robinson obviously has a super high ceiling despite not taking any shots just because he can block a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Gafford, Batadze, and Ngannou, all just like tournament filler to me. Yep. Nothing like that stands out. I know you want to talk Nick Richards though.
I think there's viability to this player. I think we've seen Mark Williams be pretty handsy at times this year.
Very.
Giannis is now playing. We know he likes to attack the rim and get after it there. And Dame likes to drive. Dame 16 free throws the other day, right? Yeah. So, now again, not to say Nick Richards isn't. The man has averaging almost, more fouls per 5 minutes than he's out there on the floor half the time, right? Like,
yeah.
But he's also someone that's giving you pretty much 20 plus fantasy points every time he's on the floor here. So, I like Nick Richards here tonight as a pivot center value play. Again, a lot of people are going to a Ngannou. Like, what's the difference between the two?
Money, money on a slate that we need.
They both play 20 minutes with ceilings of more. 25 minutes we just saw out of in that Miami game here. And that's what Ngannou kind of goes in there, plays 18 to 22. And then there's a ceiling of 25, for the most part. When they're on the floor, they are active as F, right? Like boards, points, probably get a little bit more defense out of Ngannou. But again, Nick Richards is $800 less. So if you want to play some game theory here tonight and think that, we hate projecting the fouls. But again, Mark Williams is a guy that has found himself in some foul trouble this year. 23 minutes each of the last 2 games. What's to say he's on the floor? Now, I don't think this is the right game to where PJ Washington plays the 5.
Right.
I feel like they probably need a bigger body out there, which is why I think Richards is in a good spot. But it's not like Mark Williams out here playing 38 minutes a night. He's only cracked 33. He hasn't cracked 30 this year. He's only played 30 twice, or 3 times rather. So, I do like Nick Richards here tonight as a value center option.
Yeah, the thing that would help, I guess, the Washington case, not that I disagree about the spot, would be, does Bridges' return push Washington more to the 5 at times, right? Because the Bridges element is like Bridges can play either forward spot. So that's the only thing.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to lose minutes in this one. So
yeah, I would assume Brandon. I mean,
I think Miller loses minutes.
I assume it's Brandon Miller. I have one more name I'm going to throw at you, and you can just say yes or no. It's a game theory play. Duop Reith here, John. $3,400 for Portland, backup center. He is clearly the backup. He can stretch the floor. When you look at it, does that game stay competitive if LeBron plays? I don't know with Malcolm Brogdon out. Played 20 minutes. There's obviously potential foul trouble from Ayton too, guarding Anthony Davis. We know DeAndre Ayton is not. I mean, he had 4 fouls in 2 quarters in a game already this year. So,
yeah, I found myself just playing Jabari Walker instead, but I get it.
I mean, Jabari Walker has better eligibility. He has the power forward eligibility than over Reith too. Yeah. I don't disagree because I also find myself playing Jabari Walker. Just throwing it out there, Duop Reith would probably be the guy if Ayton got in foul trouble, would probably come in at center over Jabari Walker.
Our guy John Isaac is racking up defensive stats again.
He's the monster. Yeah.
Haven't seen him play the more than 17. That's been a little disappointing. Probably don't go there, but we're watching. We're watching him.
The back-to-back was a great step. The back-to-back was like a first step of many because not only back-to-back, played the same amount of minutes in that, or more minutes in the back-to-back, and then like seemingly came out unscathed, right? Like, not on the injury report the next game.
Dude, we got the crazy, crazy games here for
Andre Drummond. Dude, 12
minutes. Yeah, 9 and 14. 9 and 14.
12? Like, okay.
Those are Boban minutes, right? Right?
I'm just going to say this. Like, is Andre Drummond, is he really this, like, could Andre Drummond not give somebody like 25 minutes a night?
I don't know. He probably can.
I'm just asking. Like, he couldn't go out and like.
It's hilarious though, like how little he's playing. 29, 33, 25, playing 14, 15, and 12.
I'm just like
20 and 25, 15, 14. Just
like give me like Drummond on like trade.
It's just unfortunate he's 43 because if he's still 37, we'd probably actually give him a little bit of a look-see. Thoughts on Hartenstein and Eubanks? Prices down on them finally again. Game spots for him possibly.
I'd probably rather play like Richards or Drummond, who just feel like they have higher ceilings.
Yeah, Richards for me for sure. All right, let's build a lineup. Are we going Joker, Embiid?
Yes. Yeah. We gotta go. Come on, we've talked it up all show.
I agree. Probably go Reggie Jackson then at 5K.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, we can move it around if we want, because we do have the no Grimes. I wish we would have had no Barrett by now, but we don't.
I know, that's unfortunate.
This is Clarkson for me. All right.
I think we get a news.
You go Jabari, power forward. Small forward, guard, forward, util, 55-50.
Oof. I mean, the Terrence Mann, Kevin Knox thing is obviously, there it is, Kevin Knox.
7,100 if we play them both.
Oh no. This is like for the highest ceiling on the board, that is like the lowest floor lineup you could possibly look at with
it's not great. It's not great.
With Kevin Knox and Terrence Mann. I like the 6K left price tag.
I mean, do we go Hart here? Do we just assume he gets run no matter what?
I think I was just doing the Knicks projections over at Fantasy Alarm, and I think there is a chance that we see like Hart, DiVincenzo, and Quickly all approach like 28 minutes or so, just based on how the rotation is gonna. I mean,
Caruso is on guard. Gives us 67.50 for a forward in the util.
67.50 guard or forward util
or guard. For, I mean, do we want like the Chase the Chalk Sexton play or?
Okay. I mean, if we did, I'm not like totally against it, but also not like. I don't think that's like exciting.
I know you hate locking up center with util, but that'd be $9,400 guard or forward if we did Nick Richards. It could be Randall.
Yeah, it would be Randall in that. It would be Randall in that instance for sure.
Guard would be Trey. Get exposure to that game total. Move Trey to guard and Caruso to forward. This will give us a $4,300 util. We're $100 off Bay, which is a big sad for me.
Yeah, you're. I mean, I like the Sadiq Bey tournament thing. I mean, it's like Terrence Mann.
He's the $7,900 guard, huh?
That tier is yucky.
Rough.
Yeah. It's. I mean, could you just like spend elsewhere? I mean, the Cleveland news is obviously there, so you could, if you wanted to, shift your lineup around and hold off because you could play LeVert 69, Strus 59, or probably Jordan Clarkson 68. Those would be the two like that I would.
Yeah, without knowing who's in your lineup already, right? I mean, Sengun 77. If you could double center it.
Yeah, and you don't
Mobley 76 feels pretty good.
You wouldn't hate the Sengun util because he's playing in the late game too. So like that's not. I mean, it's not the greatest flexibility, but at least he's in the late game.
I want to just do the pivot monster here.
To JoJo
and Trey, a little 2-game stack, man.
Yo, what's up? Is this stream
only for NBA stuff? This stream is NBA only, but we do a billion NFL streams throughout the day.
Yep,
as well. If you have any questions that aren't NBA related, you can get in our Discord. Links are in the chat. Can throw some cues out there.
Or if you do have NBA stuff,
have NBA stuff, throw us your NBA questions, man.
Yeah.
But the show is the NBA playbook, so
yes, sir. Shout out to you, BJ. Welcome.
Kind of in the name of what we're looking to do here today. Do we have any of the point guards or guards that we like? Burks, maybe
at 43 specifically,
or just like would we pivot off Reggie to anybody here?
If we pivot off of Reggie, I mean nothing like
because like going to Burks would get me Bay, so
or Sexton. I mean, it would be Sexton. If you're pivoting off of him, you're just going. I would say you're going to 41.
Would you rather Sexton over Burks though? Burks has been way more consistent.
I mean, if you're trying to just get to Sadiq Bey, then yes, you're just going to Burks. Had Cole Anthony, but with Clarkson. Now do we like Reeves over Cole? I mean, we like Reeves over Cole if we found out LeBron wasn't playing. No problem, BJ. Have a good one, man. I would like Cole Anthony over Reeves if there's no Jalen Suggs.
I like Reeves a lot tonight. I think he gets run against. I'm with Sean. I go Reeves over Cole today. I agree. If Suggs gets ruled out, I understand what your point is there, but it's not a great game.
Not a great game.
Do we like Sexton? I don't mind Sexton, but he's so chalky tonight that I would rather not play Sexton.
It looks like the ownership's coming down in a couple places.
He was just so efficient in that game that it feels difficult. I just don't know if he does that again. We haven't really seen it. Like at least with Alec Burks, like we've seen it every time he gets on the floor. He's just that guy, and he's giving you assists, he's giving you rebounds, he's giving you scoring. Sexton's like only giving you scoring. So if he doesn't hit his shots right away, or just like the shots don't find him right away, then like what's to say he stays on the floor? So
agreed.
So I kind of like this lineup: Caruso, Clarkson, Knox, Walker, Joker, Trey, Bay, and Burks. Again, the Atlanta game, 236 total, 1 point spread. Get a couple guys in there. We did show you if you wanted to get down to Embiid, though, you could, and give yourself some more money to kind of play around with some lineups. I would say some core guys for me in this lineup, though. I do like Caruso a lot tonight. I like Clarkson. I've been in on Bay just for some value tonight. I like Bay more than some of the other value plays here. Jabari Walker is a good spend down option. Knox, he fit the build, so we're there, but I can move off of him. Trey, again, just kind of a spend up. We got money to play with. We could, I guess, play ball now if we wanted to, just move up. But some different looks for this slate here tonight. Again, guys, if you want to join us in our listener league, link here is in the chat for DraftKings. $5 contest. You can come play with us here tonight over on DraftKings. Grande, any final thoughts, any final takes here on the show?
No, just lock into the news pre and post lock, because a lot of the noteworthy stuff is going to happen probably after 7 o'clock. So NBA does not stop at 6:59. Your lineups are not set at 7 o'clock. There is still a lot of moving parts, so make sure you're always hip to the news. Turn the notifications, come into the Discord, join the family, and we'll help guide you along the way.
Yeah. Why is he chalky, Nico? Honestly, I think it's more of a game flow, but if you look across the industry and you look at the rostership projections there for Colin Sexton tonight, I think it has a couple of things to do with the fact that there isn't a lot of value. Yep. He's only $4,100. He just flashed a ceiling scoring game and a ceiling minutes game. So people look at this matchup against the Suns, see them with a high game total and the fact that they're 5-point dogs at home and think they may need the scoring on the floor with Sexton here tonight. So he may play over Keontae George, or he may play over an Agbaji, and they go with a smaller lineup here today. So again, we're just kind of reading this off of the rostership projections we've seen, across the industry here today. So it's why people are going Sexton supposedly. We'll see. We'll see where it is. Again, I personally am not. If I lose because of it, again, I'm only playing a couple lineups. I'm not a sim player. I'm not a 150 lineup player. So I guess I'll lose the computers tonight if Sexton goes off. If he doesn't, I feel like I'll have a little bit of an edge there. So,
and that also, for now, like we talk about, ownership and stuff, that could also just fully shift on its head if somebody is
RJ Barrett gets ruled out. Maybe people move off and move different value and find some other stuff here tonight. So
bingo.
So again, we'll stay tuned. Get in that Discord. I know Sean's in there. We'll be in there answering some questions, updating everybody with the news here tonight. Again, if you haven't already become a family member, the QR code's here and the links in the description. Our annual subscriptions, 40% off. Get access to everything on site, not just the NBA content, but all content: NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, NASCAR, baseball, you name it, we cover it. It's behind the paywall. You get it with our annual subscription package and our premium Discord there as well. We're in there throwing plays around, talking strategy, game theory, lineup theory, and updating everybody with the news. So if you want to scan that QR code or get the links in the description of the show today, go ahead and do that. Final question. You can also go to the sleeper code if you want. My sleeper article's in there for today as well. Get 100% deposit match with sleeper up to $100. What was the final question here?
Why are you guys being anal about LeBron? Was the final question.
I don't think we're being anal about LeBron. I think we just don't know if he's going to play or not.
I think he's going to play. He's been questionable every slate he's been playing. He even played on a back-to-back. So I don't know what you're talking about. But why are you being anal about LeBron?
Totally in our player pool if he's active, man. You just also have to look at this game tonight with the Lakers. It was started as a 7.5 point spread. It's now up to a 9 point spread. So
DeRozan in, Caruso in.
Okay. So yeah, that's all it is, man. It started open as a 7.5. It's up to a 9. So if this game blows out, hey, they beat Memphis by 30. Look what happened to LBJ. He played 23 minutes.
Yep.
So you do that math there. If you think that's what's going on with that game there tonight with the Lakers. So yeah, just worried about them being limited if that game blows up. So get us in the Discord, find us on Twitter, follow us there. Good luck everybody tonight. We'll catch you later.